everyone. Welcome to our March App Runtime Platform Working Group meeting. I had to look at my docs to make sure I said the right name of the working group. It's good to see you all here. We have a couple of things on our agenda. Thank you, Jürgen and Jeff, for adding your items. I love it when I am not the only one adding an item to the agenda. I put two little things first. They should be pretty fast. One is that I gave the update to the TOC about how our working group is doing yesterday. One of the things that I brought up is that because of Ivan and Mikey's leaving over the past few months, leaving our community, that currently Diego is now a VMware only working group. And I think for a while, logging and metrics has been a VMware only working group. So if you do not work for VMware and you know anyone who would like to start to work towards joining these, sorry, not working group, the like approver list. Know anyone who wants to join the approvers or work towards, getting there, let me know, because that would be great.
So I think at SAP, I'm currently in the team who took over the log aggregator, and also we are starting looking into something, but they have not yet contributed a lot. Of course, we would like to bring somebody in as an approver, but we are a little bit scared because it's a very complex beast, and nobody really says, I want to review pull requests and take responsibility currently. But in principle, we would like to bring us into a position there. Not sure if the expectations are not so high on an approver, maybe we can get someone into it.
Yeah, but that's the other thing I talked to the TOC about yesterday, is that currently there's some kind of set standards of what it means, what you have to do to become an approver. I think right now it's review 30 PRs, which does not make sense for every area. And so I've been talking to them about changing that up. So I'm sure we can work together to find something that's wouldn't take more than a year of full-time work to do. But yeah, that's great. If you want to nominate someone or someone's from the team to like start working towards that, you can reach out to me and probably Ben.
Yeah, good.
The other thing is, let's see, updates on GitHub Teams PR workflows. Ooh, those TOC PRs are finally being merged in. And I know Stefan and Jeff, you volunteered to help put these into place so that we will officially start doing PR workflows everywhere. We'll get everyone the right permissions. I've been out for the past month, so I have not come up with you since you volunteered to do that. But I've also seen that Ruben, who's part of a different working group, maybe the infrastructure working group, maybe Bosch working group, he's been doing a lot of automation around this. So he's been converting our like working group doc in the community GitHub into YAML so that his automation can just pull it in and do stuff. So there might be some collaborating we can do with Ruben, but I'll reach out to both of you soon. Okay, those are my quick updates. Now I'm going to pass it off to Jürgen. Welcome. I'll let you take the floor. You're muted.
Oh, wait.
Yep, there we go.
Sorry, I'm muted. Now here I am. So just to give you a little background, I'm working in a logging team at SAP, where we several services relevant here are the platform logging for CF and also application logging. So a service that is given to customers. And I started with the maybe just to give you a short heads up, so we can then, for example, have like not all of the 4 golden signals, but 3 of them. So, for example, error rates calculated based on those Go router access logs. Yeah, and I think we can do a lot here. And then my idea even went further by looking at those troubleshooting error responses. And there is some table below where I already contributed to fixing some formatting issues. where it said, okay, if you have a certain status code and something written in the CF error field, then you can say whether the source of the failed request is from the platform or the client or application. And my idea was if we could like add more information here and then end up with something like a pie chart saying, okay, the customer sees their request failed, and we could be even that transparent saying, okay, that was due to your app being failing, or that was due to the platform. And yeah, so that's like my wish, my idea. Not sure how far we can get there. Not sure how much it would make sense. So on the one hand, I think it would make sense for us from the platform view to see for the failed requests, like the percentage caused by ourselves. And on the other hand, to make things transparent for the customers. Hope everyone was able to get the idea. Yeah, not sure how to continue there. I started from like fixing the formatting of the documentation, and also came up with like some ideas, but where I'm simply not sure and not the expert, because I'm not coming from the depths of CF, but rather from a logging service or logging perspective. Yeah, maybe then it's your turn to comment on it. And if I'm here at the right place to share this idea.
You're definitely at the right place.
If I can ask a question, I don't.
Yeah.
Was someone else gonna ask something first, though, or mention something first? Am I misunderstanding?
Go for it, Ben.
Okay.
You can go.
I see you're trying to track some of these 4 golden signals. I like hearing that. I've been, hearing and looking into this sort of stuff for a while now, and I'm wondering why you decided to try and track these using the access logs rather than exposing metrics or working to a more metrics looking side of things.
That's partly because we work, or just like our starting point is the ELK stack. We could include metrics there. We're working also in that direction. What I can also, so metrics is nice if we want to go also for long term. But I can at least verbally. Yeah,
it's easier short term to work towards matching on error on access logs at the moment. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah. So if you have only a short period of time, or like we're talking about days here, then you can like really drill down into each and every request. You can like see from those failed requests who's doing what. And I recently demonstrated internally some of those dashboards, and would have to check what can be shared in this round, to be honest. But you can really drill down here, and also for the customers, they like get their logs and they get what they can see. But if you can also get the metrics for this, would be nice as well. But I would like still keep the logs and as a source of where you can drill down much deeper, and you can like also see like which paths have been requested, what were the parameters, and so that's like a very rich source of information. And you can have like the same dashboards you built with metrics, but a very impressive drill down on top of that. Hope that answers your question or motivation. But if you can, anything you can share with regards to metrics for that would be also interesting for me, because that we can also include then in our observability service.
Sure. I've been trying to figure out a future path for trying to make it easier to calculate and view these sort of things, but I don't think I'm at a solution or a path to a solution at this point.
maybe we can sync in a later step, and I can share what we do, and if that helps you to find a way forward with regards to metrics and observability. Maybe I was also starting with the logs because they were already in the stack, and I just made use of them.
So from my experience, when working with Go Router some time ago, I think the 502 errors were the most prominent, but also the most difficult to interpret. Also in the table, you see it's either application or platform error 502s. And it was always for us, I think Patrick can maybe have take over because he has more experience in the meantime. Difficult to discuss with the application owners if it's a net platform or an application issue. For example, if connection could not be established with the application, was it because the application was overloaded or because there was something in the platform? So maybe here it would be also interesting. I once created a list of all the detailed error messages from a Go router, which came from different places. But maybe here also we could improve in documentation and together understand better what these different errors mean.
Maybe I can share. So in that PR where I fixed something, I saw that we had a lot of certificates is not valid errors, where I assumed, okay, if that's like this XX509, that might be then also a platform issue. Because like all the X509 errors were platform related, but yeah.
Yeah. But if it's endpoint failure or backend endpoint failed, that can be the detail. I think you only see in the error log of a Go router currently. Not sure if it's still the case.
No, you see it in the access log as well. That changed.
Okay, cool.
But Jürgen, just one question from my side. So what exactly are you expecting? You want this table more complete with all the
yes.
So
when I looked at it, it hasn't changed for a while. And I would assume simply new errors popped up in the meantime because of code changes, but I'm not sure. So I looked at it and saw like the real content changes sometime back, I think more than a year. And simply wanted to get back to you. Maybe you cannot do much more than this, but maybe you can. I don't know. I'm also not aware about your level of knowledge for this, and if it can be easily set for those. I could maybe make a list and you then just rate if it's platform, app, or unknown. From what I can see internally, so with like big landscapes, and I would just like try to extract something from it. I'm also not sure how much you want to invest on it, and if you have like higher prior items, which would be also fine. I just want to bring up the topic and see what you think about it, and if we can improve, and if this like goal of a like final pie chart is realistic, saying who's responsible for the failed requests. On it would be also fine if we can say it's either app or platform or like unknown, but we are like more complete on the list.
Yes, I definitely see the need. I know how hard it can be to look at these error logs and try to figure out what's going on. So I definitely hear that problem. My guess is you're right, this hasn't been updated. And it's hard to update, right? Because it's like, oh, it's not like we know of every error that's gonna come up. We would have to remember as, you know, we see them. So I think it might be difficult to do after the fact, but as they come up, I think it's, yes, would be great to update. And if you have any that you know of that aren't here that that you want help or want us to like verify which way it goes, app or platform, I think that would be very helpful. One of the things that I like the idea of a pie chart, and I like the idea of adding unknown, because one thing I'm always worried about is, like Stefan said, there's some things that can be either, like in your PR right now, it talks about, do you mind going to the PR tab? Which one? No endpoints, right? That could be a user, a dev forgot to add a particular endpoint. And so it's, I would call that maybe an app fault that the endpoint was not added, or it could be Go router dropped all of its routes. Something went wrong with the platform, and you know, a platform issue. And so my worry is a little bit of, you know, we expose things to our end customers, and then our customers saying like, oh, there's all these platform issues, and opening support tickets, you know, when they see, oh, platform issues is, you know, 75% of these are platform issues. But I do like the idea of an unknown or like an either category for some of them. So my understanding is that you have been updating this table, great, love it, and that you want to more in logs classify, or like somewhere classify them as either app or platform, or, you know, either or unknown. Were you thinking about editing or like adding a header to the logs, or where were you thinking about adding this information? I think that's something that I missed in your presentation.
So we don't need to add that to the log, because we then can parse and interpret it in the dashboards. But if you would add it to the logs, that's also an idea to improve. But that's up to you. So like the easiest way for me or it would make life easier for me for sure if you would write it to the log. But I can also like interpret the logs and put the logic in my dashboard.
I see. And so you need the docs as up to date as possible so that you can write your parse.
So docs would be sufficient, but yeah, for sure, if you would write it to the logs, that would be a very nice service. So I'm not stopping you from doing that.
So where can people, like I see that this PR is merged. Do you have like an open PR where we can continue this conversation, or open issue maybe where we can continue this conversation?
Not yet. So I first wanted to verify that this issue would make sense, because I was not 100% sure. But they can start an issue and then like post like typical errors. I see. I also have like from the big landscapes, I think a good overview what are like the pressing and most common error messages I see there, which are not in the list.
Yeah. That sounds really great, especially because as a, you know, a VMware employee, we don't have our own managed TAS. And so we don't have a realistic environment that we can get into easily and grab logs from. So any logs from a real environment would be really helpful.
Yes, so then I would create an issue and put some error messages there, and then we discuss and create pull requests from it. That would be then the way forward from my perspective. That
sounds really, really great. When you create the issue, you can post it in the working group channel in Slack.
Yeah.
That I think you're invited to now.
I will find it.
I'll send it to you after this. In interest of time, I'm gonna say thank you, Jürgen. This is great. I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you found our working group. I'm so glad you came, presented. And I'm gonna hand it over to Jeff to talk about dynamic ASGs.
Cool. So I just wanted to give an update on where our work on it is. largely done. We cut a release 3.0 of both Silk and CF networking last week, which support policy server querying CAPI for dynamic ASG data or ASG data, and then VXLAN policy agent pulling policy server to get those rules and apply them onto each container. There are a few bugs that we're working through that we'll follow up with in the next couple weeks, and that's mainly what's going on there. I know a lot of you are looking forward to it, so if you want to poke around and try it out and see if you find any problems, please do. Once we get the next release cut, we'll probably have a PR into CF deployment that will enable this fully. And then I was also asked about app-specific ASGs and looking into that. And it's not something that's currently on our radar because I don't know that we have a lot of customers asking for it. But if it's something that is interesting to any of you, there's a GitHub issue on CF networking. Please comment there so that we know who's interested and we can keep track of that. And if any of you want to work towards that, we can offer advice and help. Yeah.
Can you post that issue in the working group channel, please?
I sure can.
If you have not already. Great. Any questions about dynamic ASGs? They're coming. Exciting. Cool. Okay, we have reached the end of our agenda. Does anyone else have something that they would like to add? Okay, well, oh, Jürgen, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask what ASG stands for. Probably this is known to everyone in the round, but
Application security groups.
Thank you.
Yep, it's the whitelist of IPs that allows apps to talk out to the internet to certain places. Stefan, looked like you wanted to say something. Maybe I'm imagining it. No. Okay, well, I will say good night, good day, good morning, everyone. It was great seeing you. I will see you next week and I'll see you in Slack, or next month, and I'll see you in Slack in the meantime.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks for hosting. Bye.
Bye.